My name is Amanda Poole. I'm with WatchFox. Welcome to Columbia, Coach. Congrats on the job. I just wanted to ask, why Columbia? What really enticed you about this position, and what are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to being back home. This is home for me. My wife, Adrian, is from Gaffney, South Carolina. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, of course. I've had several opportunities to to lead a program, but God has his timing and purpose for everything. I think this opportunity presents itself for that moment. I'm ready. I'm so prepared for this moment, so excited for this moment, and just can't wait to get back to Columbia, get back home to get started leading this program. Again, the most important thing I'm excited about is getting back, getting there, meeting the kids, getting the staff together, and making certain that we have people in place that are ready to impact young lives. So that's mostly what I'm really excited about.
All right. We'll go with Emily and then Rick.
Hey, Coach Emily Adams with the Greenville News.
Hi.
You've got a pretty big time athlete coming in Nick Harbor next year. I mean, just have you had a chance to talk to him at all, and just kind of what have you, seen from him in your experience so far on the track side of things?
I can't wait. Actually, he's going to be my next conversation after I finish communicating with y'all. Nick is a tremendous dual sport athlete that I just can't wait to get opportunity to work with. Can't wait to speak with Coach Beamer to kind of formulate a plan that's going to be conducive for both sports. I think they're going to complement both. The things that we do and the things they do on the gridiron is going to complement both. So super excited about meeting him, putting a plan together for him, and then actually on the track, just trying to recruit and put some pieces together to help him meet his ultimate goals. I understand he's very ambitious about track and doing it at the next level. So it's my job to put pieces around him to cultivate that and help him through his help him see his vision out.
Hey, Coach, Rick Henry, WIS-TV, Columbia.
How are you?
Yeah, hey, I'm great. Yeah, congratulations on the job.
Thank you so much.
I was talking to Coach Fry, and he says he's known you for about 20 years, and he's a big fan of yours. Over the years, what advice or what things have you taken from him? And what's the responsibility of following in the footsteps of someone who is so accomplished?
Right. Coach Fry has been a mentor, a spiritual mentor, a guide, my friend. He is the reason I'm in the position and have this opportunity right now. Anytime I've had a question about track and field, different jobs, and I'll give you a quick story just to put in perspective his vision in terms of helping mentor young coaches. There was a job opportunity that came up for me back in 2005, and I called Coach Fry to get his opinion about it. And after a brief conversation, he said, "Tim, listen, there's something bigger and better on the horizon for you. Just be patient, take your time, don't be so eager to jump at every head job that comes open." And I'm so thankful that I listened, because he saw something in me that I thought I was ready for, but was not prepared for. And I'm glad I took his advice, as I always do. And here I am. So he was spot on in terms of something being bigger and better on the horizon for me. And I appreciate him greatly. He will forever be woven into the fabric of not only the University of South Carolina's track and field program, but track and field community globally. He's an icon. He's changed and impacted so many lives, student athletes, as well as young coaches coming up. So, and I have him as a cheat code, so to speak, because he's right there in Columbia, and I can't wait to continue to pick his brain about the things that I need to do to bring the community together, be actively involved in the community, and have our student athletes actively involved in the community. So I love him. He's a dear friend. He's going to continue to mentor me in this process. So I can't wait to get to Columbia.
All right, we'll go with Brad.
All right. Hey, Coach, Brad Muller, working in the athletics department, do feature stories for Gamecocks Online. What are your goals? And I know you're still trying to meet all your student athletes and all that, but what are your goals and priorities here in year one? And what are the biggest challenges in year one?
Well, to answer the last part of that question, challenges are only as great as we create or make them. My first priority is to get a staff in place that's going to understand my vision in terms of establishing relationships with student athletes. We have to be of the mindset that we have to reach athletes first. They have to feel like we understand them as people first before we can extract any type of performance from them. That's been my philosophy since I got in this business at UNC Charlotte, and I'm going to continue to charge my staff with that. That's going to be the expectation of our student athletes and coaches. Once I complete the staff, then we'll have a meeting, and I'll convey that to them, and we're going to get to work cultivating lives. We're going to make certain that we have a first-class program. We're going to make certain that kids are being held accountable for the team ideals that we put in place, and understand their role in this process of winning championships. But first and foremost, just getting that in place, and then we're going to try to move the needle every day to be 1% better to get this program back to its prominence and relevance in the SEC and NCAA rankings.
We'll go Chapel, then Amanda.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you taking the time. I had one more Nick Harbor question for you. I know you said you haven't talked with Beamer yet, but in coaching, have you ever coached a dual sport athlete at the college level? Do you have an idea of what maybe that balance might look like? And I know there's a lot of different seasons and overlapping and stuff. So any idea? You haven't talked to me yet.
I when I was at my previous institution, the other school down the road, Clemson, I had the pleasure of working with CJ Spiller and Jacoby Ford, my time there, and they were two phenomenal dual sport athletes that as I mentioned earlier, track helping them on the gridiron even. I have the experience. I know how to develop periodizations where it not only makes them faster, but it makes the transition back to football a lot easier. I used to joke with Jacoby Ford all the time and say, man, you look like everyone else is in the Matrix and he was just so fast. So I'm looking forward to putting that experience, and putting a program in place for Nick to cultivate that speed, to cultivate that knowledge, to cultivate that talent. So it benefits him on the football field as well.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering, in the press release, you talked about helping make these athletes kind of ambassadors of the Gamecock brand. What do you think the Gamecock brand is where you sit right now?
I think this is a gold mine in a sense that it's kind of been dormant for a while, and as it relates to cross country and the track performances. I've been in the SEC for 10 years now, 9 or 10 years now, and I just kind of see the program was just kind of in a dormant state, if you will. So I think it's just a matter of helping them understand their value, their responsibilities within being a part of a championship program. We put team ideals in place that's going to hold them accountable for those things and those responsibilities. And then we get to work. I'm going to charge them day one. So if they're listening, no one is going to work harder than Gamecock Track and Field. I hope they're listening to me, because that's going to be the charge. We're going to work hard. We're going to get things done. We're going to be accountable for our actions or lack of. We're going to be in class on time. We're going to not miss assignments, tutors. I think having them cognizant of all those small details will omit the bigger problems later down the road when we're about to hoist that trophy over our head at SECs and NCAAs.
We'll go back to Emily.
All right. Yeah, Coach, you've been kind of all over the SEC over the last, few years. Just kind of what is unique about coaching in the SEC, trying to build a program in the SEC, sort of compared to some of the other ones, having just had a national champion on the men's side and all that.
Right. it's, as the SEC doesn't yield itself to the fate of heart. I call it a diamond league every time the teams come together, indoor and outdoor. I think if we were a country, the SEC would have been like fifth or sixth in the world championships in terms of the caliber of performances. So, I've always wanted to be the absolute best at what I do before I take on a new assignment or responsibility. I always ask myself, who can do this better than I can? And the answer is, no one. And not to sound like I'm bragging or anything, but that's just been my mentality since I got into business. I've always wanted to be one of the top sprint coaches in the world. And I think I'm close to getting almost close to that. But just having that desire and really being able to express my passion and how passionate I feel about winning and cultivating young lives and making an impact, having an impact on young lives. That's going to continue to elevate this program and the coaching staff, and we'll be moving this needle one day at a time.
Back to Amanda.
My last question for you, Coach, if you could just tell us about your family a little bit. I did a little bit of research on your son, who's a standout basketball player. I was wondering if they're going to be making their way to Columbia with you. Well,
I would love for him to, join us. He's actually on a official visit now. He's going to be wrapping things up, but I'd love for him to be a part of this process. Again, it's home for us. I'll have a conversation with the people who I need to speak with if it's a possibility. But he's a tremendous young man, and I like to speak on behalf of his academic prowess first and foremost. Very good student. I asked him when he was in the 8th grade, what did he aspire to be? And he said, I want to own my own NBA team. So I was like, wow, that's ambitious, but okay. So we'll formulate a plan to get this started. So we made some adjustments in our lifestyle in terms of putting him in the absolute best position to attain that. My daughter just had 2 beautiful twin boys, Zaire and Zamir. I think I'm gonna have to get name tags to identify both of them or each of them. So it's just overall, this is the right moment, the right time, at the right school, with the right people for me and my family. And I couldn't be more happier or more excited about getting started. My wife, Adrienne, she's been the backbone, if you will. If it weren't for her, just being understanding of my time I have to travel, the time away from home, the time away from Tim Jr. If it wasn't for her, I know I would not be sitting here right now. So I'm very grateful to her and happy to get her back closer to her family as well.
Anything else for Coach Hall? All right. Well, thank you all for hopping on, Coach. Thanks for taking some time out of your day. Looking forward to
Absolutely.
having you here in Columbia.
Absolutely.